Hi and welcome to Little Bits Honeybee's YouTube channel. I'm the Skinny Bee Man. Today we're going to continue the talk on how to make queens from the very simplest to the more complex. This week we're going to talk about the guys that want to try their hand at grafting but doesn't have a lot of hives, maybe just 3 or 4 hives, and don't have the resources to shake a starter hive out and dedicate it and mess up the other hives. You know, starter hive, we'll talk about it. I've got videos on starter hives, how to make one, but next week we're going to do actual grafting to make a lot of cells. But this is just, if you need a few more cells, and you'll know by grafting, you'll know exactly when they're going to hatch if you graft the right age larva. So we start out, pick a strong, because you're not going to hurt the hive. Pick a strong double deep hive, nuke box, 8 frame, 10 frame, it doesn't really matter. So here's our double deep. And there's a lot of different ways to do this, and this is just one. I'm trying to keep it really simple. First thing we got to do, we got to get the queen in the bottom. Now you can either go through the hive and find her and put her in the bottom box. If you don't want to do that, you can take the top box off and set an empty box back on here and take all the frames out of that top box you took off, shake them all off down in the box, run them down in there. Now you know we've got all the bees in the bottom, so we know the queen's in the bottom. It's just as simple as putting a queen excluder right there. And this box here, you want to go through the box and find most of the open brood and put it in this top box. You want open brood, not cat brood. You want all wet brood. Put it up here. And you really just need, if you're using a 5 frame box, you only need 4 frames because you're going to put your grafting frame in the middle. And we're not going to talk about the grafting part of it. I've got a whole playlist on grafting. I'll link it at the end of the video where you can be on the grafting part of it. But anyway, we've got the queen in the bottom. We've got a queen excluder on here. We've got mostly wet brood up here. I'm going to set this box back up on here. Spread your frames apart, because you're going to want to put your grafting frame right in the middle between at least 2 frames of open brood on each side. And you just put your grafting frame right in the middle and put the lid on it. That's all you got to do. I know it's a queen right hive. Typically, if you do a perfect graft and you would get 9 to 10 cells out of this, so say you're doing 10 cells, you'd get 9 to 10. With the queen right, the best you're going to do is 5 or 6 cells. They'll make cells, but they won't make as many. That's just the way it is. Now, kind of on the same concept, if you wanted to make more cells, doing the same thing, instead of using the queen excluder, we do everything else the same. We use a double screen bottom board. We got to pretend there's screen on both sides of this. Well, I don't have one made up, but we talked about screen bottom boards last week. You set your screen bottom board on there, and this one you don't have to have an entrance because you're only going to leave them for 24 hours. If you don't have an entrance, I would make it like this 1.5 inch, 1/8 inch hardware cloth on both sides. It would be great. The more screen you got on it, the better. Then you would set your box back on here and put your grafting frame right in the middle. Now this hive is totally queenless because the bees in the bottom can't touch the bees in the top. So this top box thinks they're totally queenless. So in 24 hours, you put them in there, in 24 hours you come back, take this off, take your double screen bottom board off, Then put your queen excluder on there. Set this box back on. Now you had open brood or wet brood, some people refer to it as. So you need to go through there, not right now, but before the time that's out on this, you need to check on these frames and make sure they didn't make queen cells on these frames, because that'd be just like a supersedure cell. When you put this hive, let this hive go back as a whole, those virgins will hatch out and they'll kill your queen. So you need to find out, make sure that you don't have any queen cells on any of your frames. And I would suggest that you shake the bees off the frames. They're real good about hiding them. And I run 6 starters, and about once every 2 weeks I'll miss one, and I'll have a virgin in my starter, and that doesn't work well. But this here, you'll get more cells. It'll be just like doing a starter. It'll be just as good if the hive's strong and there's a lot of bees in there. You do 10. They could make 10 cells for you. And timing on both of these. Let's say we're going to graft on Wednesday. If you grafted the right size larva, which is like 12 hours old, they will cap those cells on day 6, and counting the day you graft. So if you graft on Wednesday, you count that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Monday they'll be capped. Those cells will be capped. You can move those cells and put them in a split at that time. But if you don't do it on day 6, do not move them until, let's say 6. There's 4 days there you can't move them. They're real critical. So you don't want to touch them if you can't get them out on day 6. But if you graft on Wednesday, you pull them on Monday, and they will hatch the following Monday. So let's say we're just using this for an example. If you graft on Wednesday, you want to go in here on no earlier than Friday and no later than, and I would probably go in on Saturday, because I don't know how, if you grafted the right age larva. If you grafted a day old larva, they're going to do all this a day earlier. So Friday and Saturday be the day you need to pull your cells out, put them in your splits, and ought to make you some really nice cells. This is a way, just like I say, for a guy that wants to try his hand at grafting and don't want to make a full-blown starter hive. And this here, the way we're doing it, you're starting it out with this last deal with the double screen bottom board. You start out with a queenless starter, and then you put the queen excluder back on there, and it turns it back into a queen right finisher. So you got it all in one box, and then after you're done with it, you may check to make sure there's no cells on it they made on the frame, because they will make cells on the frame more than likely. Take your queen excluder off, set your hive back on there. This hive's all intact. It hasn't missed a lick. Queen's been there laying the whole time. They've been bringing in honey if the honey flows on. And works really good, pretty simple. Next week we're going to do, probably show you the actual true starter hive and what it looks like and the amount of bees that's in it, and pull some cells out. I'll try to time it where I'm pulling cells out and show you what the cells look like, and that'll probably be the end of this mini series. But there's a lot of ways to make queens, and this is just a few of them that I'm trying to keep it simple, and where the average guy can go out and make him a few queen cells and make some splits with them. If you like the videos, hit the subscribe button, the bell next to it, get notified when we put out more videos, and thanks for watching.